Please forgive me if I mispronounce any names. She's an established pop art painter who is joining us. We have Ayshia Taşkın, who is an Intermedia artist at the Studio Aysh. We have Kenza Zouari, who's a curator, collector, and NFT art specialist. We also have David Henry Nobody Jr., who's an NFT performance artist and sculptor. Last but not least, we have Nicole Sales, who's the business director, digital art sales and NFTs at Christie's. So happy to have you all here. For everyone who's still joining the room, the circle space at the top is for, we would like to keep it for speakers who come up to the stage to speak. So if you're not speaking, if you could just make your way down to the room to leave room for anyone else who wants to speak. That way we may be able to, distinguish who wants to speak and who is just listening. Otherwise, if you look around the room, you can tap on the images. That'll give you some information on the artist as well as the pieces that are shown. So with that, I think we can get the ball rolling. And I think the first thing we could do is ask a general question to kind of start the room. And I guess whoever wants to answer first, you're more than welcome to answer. But kind of wanted to gauge everyone's interest on what their thoughts are on NFTs, being the past, the present, and the future. So where NFTs have been, where we are today, and where everyone thinks they're going. So if anyone, let's see, we can get Brian, if you'd like to start the conversation off and give us your insight on where we've been, where we are, and where we think we're going. Happy to hear your thoughts.
That's a broad question because even a few months in NFTs seems like years. So sometimes you're just like, wow, how can I? And I think some people in the space does a great job at that, answering those questions and provide good work in making what's the art history of crypto art and NFT or just blockchain with art in general. And from my personal experience, first time I've been involved with pretty much blockchain in art was back in 2016, 2017 for the first bull run. So I was following all this company like Mycenas, Codex Protocol that was trying to do things with blockchain in the physical art world and just market in general. And it evolved from this industry trying to target the art market for what the blockchain technology was a superb, innovative solution for traceability, provenance, and setting up the city of works and things like these. But I ended up facing a lot of obstacle, mostly technical obstacle and technological, and some just which link with just business management and stuff. But the really things that I think put us from the past, quote unquote, to the present NFT market we are in nowadays is that at some point people involved with blockchain in art decided that rather trying to convince art people to adopt the blockchain, perhaps we're going to get interest the blockchain people into art. And that's ended up being quite a successful bet, because I think people from involved with blockchain just to new things, and digital art is one of those quote unquote new things. And for the future of the industry, we've seen the derives there is in the space so far, mostly just because of the amount of funds and liquidity that is going through the NFT space in general. And the market shifted from art-focused markets, whereas beginning of the 2021, maybe half of the market was art, and now 85% is collectibles. And so there's truly a shift in what people resonate with NFTs, and it started with art, but I feel like it's getting further and further away from just strictly art and expanding more and more things with utilities, metaverses, and all those topics we've been hearing from the past few months.
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously the NFT space is going to affect virtually every business under the sun, and I think having artists curate their work on the platform kind of as the catalyst for the space was a really unique way for people to adopt the technology, because it's a way for everyone to reach their audience. And one of the first things that I liked from the blockchain was I guess the Terra Lunis, which is Latin for belonging to no one, which was, I believe, the first NFT minted on the Ethereum blockchain, which was based on a Reddit post. And it appears, as a project on the wall that allows you to stake your claim on the blockchain. And this means that the NFT holder claims the stake, and they could also write a short message to customize that NFT. And it's kind of what the Bored Ape Yacht Club did with their bathroom stalls, is that once you become a member, you can leave your little note on the wall. So I think that was my first experience, in the past dealing with the blockchain, with NFTs. So I thought that was pretty special, and seeing how that evolved and how other projects kind of adopted that kind of methodology. So if someone else wanted to touch on the topic, David, if you're around, would love to hear your thoughts on where we've been, where we are, and where we're going.
Hey everybody! Thanks for having David Henry Nobody. That's me.
Pleasure to have you.
Nice to beam into the metaverse with you guys. I have had nothing short but a completely revolutionary year with NFT for my work. I'm predominantly a performance-based artist, also sculptor too, but and I've been practicing for 3 decades. So for me to be able to, I'm not sure if I'm going to answer your question specifically, but in a roundabout way, it's been a very revolutionary to be able to take the recordings that I make of my work and to be able to sell them as one-of-one NFTs has been like unreal. And it's I've had amazing success in the last year. It's been a huge lift. As to where it's going, I mean, I feel like it's inevitable that we're going to just go deeper and deeper into the metaverse. And I feel like art is always like the key to understanding new spaces. I guess as reality becomes more and more simulated, that and more like a sort of a toy that you can kind of create with, the artists are sort of given all these kind of tools first, or we sort of know how to experiment and do things with them first. So I don't know, just throw me what you got, tech people, and I'm gonna tear it up with my work.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think one of the cool things that I've seen recently in terms of right now is that I just saw that there was a tennis player from, I believe she was from Lithuania, I'm not too sure, but she auctioned off a piece of her arm to be sold as an NFT, which sold for about $5,000, and her arm essentially belongs to someone who owns it, do whatever they like on her arm in that specific space for her arm. So I thought that was a unique way for someone of that stature to kind of bring the space to the physical space, if you will. So I thought that was rather interesting in recent news. But I would love to hear someone else's take. Nicole, I think you're probably dealing with a lot of artists on a daily basis at Christie's. So curious to see, maybe what comes across your table or your desk and what has been, and some of maybe if you're able to discuss some of the things that might be coming up, that'd be interesting to hear from your end.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy year. So to answer your question, where we were, where we are, and where we're going, I think in 2021, at least for Christie's, was a complete year of experimentation. We did a lot of different kinds of sales. We worked with some more emerging artists and really amplified their voices. This is historically done. We typically sell paintings from one collector to another, and very rarely do we sell on behalf of artists. So that's been really exciting for us. And where it's going, so we, I just recently mentioned on another panel I was on in another room here that we just launched a photography NFT sale of emerging American Black photographers celebrating Black History Month. So go check that out. That just launched today on Christie's.com. And then on March 1st, which is next Tuesday, we are selling a World of Women NFT that in our London evening sale. So alongside some of the great contemporary artists of the 21st century, we're very excited to be selling a very unique one-of-one World of Women in that sale as well.
That's incredible. Yeah, as a traditional auction house, for me personally, I feel like, that is a business model in itself that is going to be, completely revolutionized, because you're essentially removing a middleman of, like galleries and holders or whatever you may be. So, working with artists directly, I think is going to be a huge part of both, your business and an artist's life. So really excited to hear what you guys got going on. I think it's really special for the space in general. And so, kudos to you guys for taking a leap of faith and, certainly moving the needle on that end.
Thank you. And I'll just say a little plug. I mean, we're always open to, particularly very open to hearing feedback from artists. So, because this is so new for us to work directly with artists, like I would love to hear anything that artists wish that Christie's would be doing, or different ways that we could be supporting communities and amplifying voices. So I'm always around. Reach out. For
so
sure.
could we just email you then? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Or connect with me on here and we can talk offline.
Fabulous. Yeah, I'm a contemporary intermedia artist, and what Christie's is doing at the moment is it is what you say, it's so revolutionary, and I think it's very important to be embracing this technology, and we're not just stuck in this kind of old-fashioned traditional art bubble that the art world has kind of accompanied for years and years and years. So that's why I'm also more excited about how all this is moving forward as well as an intermedia artist.
Yeah. So on that note, I think we would love to hear from the artists as well and get their feedback on where they think the space is and how, maybe some story, how they. Maria, if you'd like to touch topic of your story.
Hi everyone. My name is Maria Tokareva. I am the artist behind this Frais. Thank you so much, everyone who joined today. I see so many people in the room. It's so cool to see so many little faces here in the metaverse. So, in my experience as an artist, I've been doing art and creating art for a really long time in the physical world, and I started to hear about NFTs with CryptoKitties when they launched, and nobody really had an idea exactly what it was, but the ones who were into the space already, they kind of saw the future. So eventually it was gonna be global and mass. So we jumped really just participating into different art fairs, just meeting people in the real world and trying to learn about how to get into the space. So my challenge as an artist before going into the NFT space was really understanding the information. Since I'm not a developer, it was really hard for me to understand how I could put it into a digital world and create a wallet and all of these technical things. So when OpenSea launched and all these other marketplaces came around, Magic Eden, they kind of provided a really fun way to learn from the space, and that's one of the key things in the blockchain space, is to learn as much as you can about what's going on. And I feel like we're all creating the future together, that any ideas that before were not possible, now they're much more easier to figure out because we have the help with each other. We can be in the same time and space technically without our bodies having to be there as we are right now in this room. So this is one of the amazing things we can create together in this space. We can answer each other's questions.
Yeah,
so where I think it's going, it's definitely going to be a massive shift in consciousness. I feel like technology has given us as human beings the ability to connect in deeper levels with other souls around the world, and therefore be able to share our thoughts and feelings more openly to create a better world for the people, for the new people who are going to be living it, like the babies that are coming right now.
Absolutely. I feel like the artificial intelligence aspect of this space has really yet to be touched on. And one of the cool concepts / projects that I came across recently was the Alethea AI project, which is, it aims to and evolve the culture and collective intelligence of the human species through blockchain. And it's actually a really cool concept, and that's where I think we're going to be going, is sharing this collective consciousness with the blockchain. As it evolves, it will evolve with us. Interesting, obviously time for the technology to evolve. Would love to hear what your thoughts on Deity are on the space as well.
Hey, thanks for having me, Christopher. And shout out to Ms. Frais' team, and also Kenza and Katerina for having me. I appreciate it. I come from 7 years of contemporary art gallery sales, so I got to see a really icky part of that world. It was fun for a long time, but there were definitely a lot of bad actors. It was very one-sided as far as who they would host as an artist and who they would get to buy the art. And so one thing I will say is, back then, I've been a full-time artist for about 5 years now, but back then everything was already becoming digital, because in order to get the artwork from the gallery wall to a client, we had to take a photo of it. And in order to get the artwork from a gallery wall to a website, we had to take a photo of it. So everything ended up being digital in that world anyway. And I think that the coolest thing about the NFT space so far, and I hope it really stays this way, is that you can interact with the artists themselves. That is I think it's such an important thing, is because good art, like art that's not shitty, comes from authentic experience that an artist is having with the viewer through their visual art. And in order to really connect to that, you have to delve deeper and connect with the artist. But oftentimes as artists, we're very busy in our own minds or in our studios or whatever, because that's kind of like what our role is on this planet. So being able to connect in this way is really special. And I think that, I know a lot of other artists have been thwarted by like the idea of utility in this space, because it is so important, and I understand that, people want a reason to grasp onto a piece of art and stick with it for a long time. But I think while some people might be having a hard time with the technology of it or something like that, the utility is something that it's starting to burn a hole through my sneakers, just like the gated community of galleries did, because I guess basically the result of this is, as an artist, you need a team. So hey, maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a good thing that we need a team, people to think about how we can use this art and how we can get people more engaged with our art. But I think as an artist, it's just your job to kind of make your art explode on the canvas. And hopefully we can meet more and more people like us, and collectors too, who are interested in our stories and how we got here, and to be able to connect on a deeper level with people like that. So yeah, thank you for having me talk here today.
For sure. And I think that's a good segue into one of my next questions, which is, what are some exciting ways that we can integrate our digital lives with our physical lives? And one of the things that I've been working on recently with our team are NFTs, which are near field communication devices that can connect to your digital or physical pieces, vice versa, and integrating that to artists, physical pieces, or people who have artists who have pieces online or on the blockchain. And so I think some of the cool ways that people can integrate this new technology into their work are through a variety of ways, which are, like I said, I think POAPs are a big thing, which is our proof of attendance protocol. I think museums are starting to integrate this as well. And so I would love to hear what you guys think on some other exciting ways that we can integrate digital life with our physical life, and vice versa. I think I think Nicole, if you're available, would love to hear your take on that as well, because I think it's a very special place that you're in.
Yeah, of course. I'm so sorry. Someone just called me. Can you mind repeating the question really quickly? Apologies.
Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, so it's, how can what are some exciting ways that we can integrate our physical lives with our digital lives, or our digital lives with our physical lives? And like, I think there are a number of different, ways that people are doing that now. Like I said, I think co-ops are one. I think NFTs are another. But there are so many new innovative, ways to integrate our lives now that would be curious to see, some of the things that maybe come across your desk.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of really interesting projects. I think the more creative that project founders can be in terms of what perks or utility comes along with ownership with the tokens in their projects, the better. So whether that's, the typical example is just access to IRL events, but I think there are more and more creative ways that that's becoming a reality. How communities can engage with one another, not just with the artists and the project, but how they can make friends and build communities with each other is really important. From the digital art side, I mean, I think we are still so early in the ways in which digital art is being displayed for collectors. So I think there's, obviously all the screen companies that are around, but I think there's still a ways to go where I think there's a lot of opportunity for screen companies or other sort of frames that can be integrated with the art. And so I'm really excited to see where that goes. I know there are a couple artists that are working on interesting things. I'm really excited to see where that goes.
Amazing. Yeah, totally. Let's see here. Ayshia, what are your takes on how we can, essentially bridge those two worlds together? From your standpoint, I know you're an intermedia artist, so I'm curious to see, how you essentially apply that topic to your work.
Yes, of course. So as an intermedia artist, coming from the kind of thought process of Dick Higgins, who was a Fluxus artist who then developed the idea of intermedia art. In intermedia art, we are very focused on connecting with the digital or with the computer. I mean, Dick Higgins, the first intermedia artist, was using computers in his art in the 1950s. He was one of the first artists to do this and talk about it. So as an intermedia artist, connecting with these digital and IT technologies is a very important aspect of my work. And for this reason, it's also why I consider myself a cyborg. You're talking about the kind of connecting the physical and the digital. So since I was maybe quite young, as a millennial, I was born a millennial, but I kind of consider myself a cyborg now because I'm so integrated with technology to the point where I'm even, integrating chips into my arm, in DIY ways, and finding, I'm actually working on developing new technologies in my own studio that I can integrate into my own body to connect to the internet in unique ways. So these are all kind of experiments. So now the artist is not just an artist, the artist is now a scientist. I'm learning coding, I'm learning engineering, I work a lot with robots. If you look at my art down the bottom, you'll see that it's all about the mechanical body, the cyborg body. And also I think it comes from this kind of idea about who are we now as humans, we kind of have this, either we're connected to a group of people or we're not connected, but what is the one thing that can connect us as a humanity or as a new species? So this is why I kind of look at the mechanical body in that way as well, and I think how can it be integrated now, and also through the use of NFTs, for instance, some of my work is it's kind of block formants. That's the kind of name I gave it. So it's pieces that can be interacted with in a game-like way, where we would swap them with a collector, or they would burn it, or we would just exchange. It's this kind of playfulness, and also learning about the technology. Like when I got into NFTs, I wasn't necessarily thinking about the money, about making money. It was more to do with like, what is this technology? Like I have to know about this technology. So I became obsessed with it, like how the solidity works, how the contracts work, how the coding works. So this is all the things that I'm also learning as an artist. And I'm just excited to see what we build as artists in a community.
For sure. Yeah, I totally agree with you there. And I think that's a good way for me to ask Kenza a question, which Kenza, what do you think is, why is it important for artists to enter the NFT industry, and how does it impact their physical life as well?
Well, hi everyone, first of all. It's a good question. I think, well, I entered the space back in 2020. I think what fascinated me was kind of the idea of how artists could connect with an international audience so easily, especially artists from minorities and even geographical minorities. So I thought about artists from my country, for example. So I live in Tunis, Tunisia, North Africa. And so the art scene is super small. And what I thought was going to be kind of groundbreaking is that you could then just, hop on Twitter, follow the right hashtags, follow the right people, and then be able to actually show your work to such a broad audience in the end, and being able to tap into some collectors that you might not have been able to meet in your own country or in your own city. And so, of course, what is also very interesting is how much you can experiment in the NFT space. So I think Ayshia said it perfectly. It's like you're now no longer only an artist, you become like a coder or like an engineer, like you're learning all those new skills. And I think that's super interesting, because what is, to me, like kind of the next thing is more like, what kind of experience can we bring, like what artists can actually create, what kind of experience artists can create using technology and using the digital world. And it's funny, and I will close on this, but I'm going to participate to the Non-Fungible Conference in April in Lisbon with a DAO I am part of. And the DAO is mainly focusing on African artists. But then today I had a call and they were like, okay, so you have a booth. What kind of experience are you going to bring to the booth? And like, okay, that's an interesting question, because I didn't think about it. I was just like, okay, we're just going to come and be at the booth and just show the work, right? But then they really wanted to create something out of it, like not having a standard booth like you see in art fairs or something pretty flat. They really wanted an experience, and by experience they wanted virtual reality experiences, something digital or in physical, so phygital, like just something new that they could offer an audience, and also in ways to educate as well. So yeah, I just think it's it's a great space to hop into. Of course, it needs to fit in with your practice as an artist, right? With your vision as well. So if you think that it's right and it works well with your practice, then yeah, of course, hop in there and just experiment, because it's like a huge playground.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think this is is there a competition, between physical artists and NFT artists in the space? Obviously, the physical world has been around for centuries. I don't think any of us can ignore the impact that it's had on us and as a culture, as a society, as a whole. And so I'm curious if there's now, with this new revolution, is there a new is there a race now for who has the most hype or who's going to be more popular? And I think, Brian, if you'd like to, as a collector, I'd like to hear your take on if there's some sort of competition between physical art and digital art.
The funniest thing is sometimes there is a competition between quote unquote NFT artists and digital artists that are absolutely against NFT. So even the digital arts community, there is some discord between what is right, and just a lot of misunderstanding, I think, and from both parts, they have to talk to each other. And but at the moment, the space is pretty positive. I've never seen as much collaboration between artists as in NFT space. People, back in early 2020, artists would just, give each other works, buy each other works, supporting each other. They didn't even needed the collectors back then, just because everything was pretty much cheap and all that. But it has changed. And just before I came into that room, I was in a Twitter space where there was actually a pretty big beef between two big digital artists, crypto artists, which was Rob Ness, which is well known for thrash art, and Max Osiris. And first time I've seen as much as conflict, and I think there is a lot of these that come, and a lot of artists that take some path that other dislike, and so perhaps this is something that is on the turning point in that regard. And there will be more and more competition, even not between physical artists and digital artists, but between pretty much any artist involved with NFTs and crypto, and the other artists that want to remain in traditional world that are pretty much against crypto and NFT in general.
Yeah, and so I think this is a way for, physical artists and digital artists to potentially collaborate with one another, because obviously this is a unique time where the digital space seems to be overwhelmingly positive and does welcome people with open arms. So Maria, do you think there are ways, or what kind of ways can artists collaborate with each other to build trust within their communities and provide value to their collectors?
Well, one of the things is what we're doing right now. All of us are collaborating here to give information about the things that we want, like to discuss and to think to other people. So this is an amazing way, obviously showcasing our art together for all of our communities that we have built. And I think we're going to be discovering more and more, like cross-pollination of NFTs, for example. One NFT is dating together and making a third NFT. That would be cool. I think, yeah, these are some of the ways that I can see it happening at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a good part of bringing people together is music. I think one of the special topics in the NFT space is the music industry that will be taking the landscape by storm. And I'm curious to hear what everyone's thoughts are on the music industry, because musicians are artists too. And what does the future of the music industry look like? Now that we've essentially entered in this digital space where songs, albums, music, lyrics, and sound bites can all be NFTs, where the original collectors or creators of those pieces can now benefit from using, those in songs. Because if you hear all songs today, they're essentially just remixes of older songs. And so, having, the music industry kind of, I think art was a good place for us to start. And I think music and fashion will be the next kind of thing to take a leap. David, would love to hear your take on how music, will essentially, affect the space. There we go. There we go.
I don't know if I have profound ideas about music. I'm not a musician, but I would like to see. People have asked me about music and NFTs. I have many other points I want to bring up on some of the prior things, but I don't want to break your flow.
No, please, by all means, this is an open format.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say that the entire basis of my work is mixing digital and IRL, basically. Like the work that I make kind of totally fits into what you were talking about before. Sorry. That I physically collage on my own body or the bodies of others in a unique process that I call resemblage, which is the combination of the words resemble and collage. And because a lot of the theory of my work is based on that although the technology doesn't quite exist for the metaverse to project into reality, in our mental and emotional space, it's already happening. It's almost like when you go to a movie and then you walk out of the movie and you kind of feel like you're still inside the movie. You know that feeling?
Yeah, for sure.
But I kind of think that when you're on your phone, you become what I call a nobody. That's why my name is David Nobody. You become bodiless. But I think that already that the process of looking at screens all day, you're already taking that mental architecture and superimposing it into life itself. So my performances are completely based on the total emotional and intellectual and philosophical boundary blurring it's already happening. The technology is catching up and in place, and I think we will have much more AR. We'll be wearing weird goggles in a couple of years or something like that for sure. But it's all right there basically, and I think it's super fascinating. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out. But not much more to say about music. But I just wanted to point that out.
No, for sure. I think the fashion realm is going to be impacted tremendously. As you can, I'm not sure, but the Central is hosting Fashion Week sometime soon, and I think having your assemblage essentially, potentially both physically and digitally, is a cool thing for people to really integrate your work into. So I think the AR side of things is certainly going to be an exciting space for a lot of artists and businesses to take to capitalize on, because there's a tremendous runway. But
totally. I've been making like manual AR for years, kind of, in a way. Actually, the collection that I have in the gallery here are being viewed as like sort of proto PFPs. The Nobody Pegs 2015-20 collection is all kind of almost predicts basically what's happening in a way, in a different light. But yeah, no, I think that it's all happening like so fast and so crazy. And the community and the collective consciousness of spaces like this and the metaverse is, like some of the other artists were saying, is totally empowering. It's really amazing. And I think we're kind of like collectively figuring out what the heck is going on and what to do next. I think it's not really an individual thing. You have to stay in touch with everybody.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's a good way for us to touch on some of the art that's being displayed here today. And we have a few artists on board, so I know you just touched on some of your pieces, but Boo, I think I'd like to hear about your collection and what you have to say.
Sure. My collection is just under the stage there. Smoking Hot Frida, Smoking Hot Marilyn, and Smoking Hot Audrey. This is a precursor to a Norm series that I've been working on for about a year. There are 4,444 PFPs that I'll release sometime this summer. And basically they started a while ago. About 3 years ago, I painted Marilyn Monroe for the first time. And I got this overwhelming sensation that she was this tormented soul on the inside, but on the outside, she was so loved. And I started to think about how we represent ourselves in different parts of our lives, and now in the metaverse, and how a lot of us don't feel on the inside how we look on the outside, and that disconnection of being super complicated on the inside. It's just like all emotions and thoughts and blood and guts, but on the outside we're just normal. And so I created the series Norms to represent a part of you that lives in the metaverse that maybe isn't you every day, but it's just a character sketch of some part of you. And so I got to thinking.
I have a connection loss here. Luke, can you hear us? I think we may have lost you there for a second.
That's the connection loss, yeah.
Yeah. So until we get her back on, we would love to hear some more about the artists that are also here in the gallery. Maria, if you want to touch a little bit on your project and some of the things that your team is working on. I know you guys are working on some exciting stuff.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much. So this new collection coming up in March we're launching the second collection, and it's gonna be a lot of really fun, different girls. One of the things that I would like is for each person that gets one of the NFTs makes its own story for its NFT. So, for example, if you see here in the gallery, we have this girl with the glasses, black hair, blue background. And can you guys imagine a story behind her? If this was her NFT, what would be her story? Or it could be a poem, or so you could give her a name. She could be Miss Lori, and she could have a profession. She's going somewhere. So you kind of like imagine all these different things about her, and you get to decide what they are. So you could even mix up things from your childhood, or like stories from yourself with her. And that's one of the cool things I think about this collection. We're also forming the Miss Fred DAO, where our collectors get to decide the future of where we're taking our collections and our artists that we're going to bring as a boutique marketplace that we're launching hopefully by the end of this year. And everybody today in this room, also I want to say you guys are whitelisted for our second collection, and we're really excited. We're partnering with Magic Eden, and it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, for sure. And also just a little bit of information for everyone else who wants to be included on the whitelist. If you just tap on one of the Miss Freight images, there's a more info tab and a whitelist tab. Just click on the whitelist tab, and then everyone in the room will be added to that list. So you have the opportunity to be a part of the project. So really excited about that. And Ayshia, would love to hear a little bit more of your project as well. You have some very interesting pieces down here. They're beautiful. Would love to hear the story behind them.
Hi, yes, thank you very much. And it's like such a pleasure to hear about everyone else's work as well. So my work is at the very bottom, and it is, as you can see, they're cyborgs, they're mechanical bodies. It's just a small one project of like other projects that I'm involved in, but they're kind of based on a book I'm writing as well. So the book is based in the very far future, because I'm a futurist, so a lot of my work looks at the future. It's not necessarily for now, so it might not be relevant right now, but it might be relevant in the future, because I'm always a future focused person. And it's kind of about liberation. It includes elements of feminism, liberation, the kind of how is technology going to tell our story in the future. Will there be an Earth left? What's going to happen with global warming and all this? Will we eventually have to become cyborgs to survive? I'm very influenced by Isaac Asimov and his kind of stories about the robot and how he kind of integrates that into developing a new kind of world, a new kind of human to care for that world. So a lot of my pieces they involve the kind of the female form, and this is because I believe that in the future we might see more female robots or mechanisms. Because of their form, they're more kind of easily integrated into whatever. If there's war, I imagine it's going to be like more war. For war, if there's more war, then they might use female forms. But it's most about liberation, and you'll see that there's a few pieces that I also collaborated on with an Italian conceptual painter, Daniel Bongiovanni, who is like a very well-known artist in Italy, but he's not involved in NFTs the same way I am. So I think it's important to kind of connect your skills together. What am I good at? What are they good at? How can we develop new works from these totally different methods of creating art? So this is kind of what my work is here. These are not the purple one at the bottom, which is called Formulae. This is one of the collaborations between myself and Bongiovanni, and then there's some other ones on Known Origin, and then the other one, Sentience, and then the L1, they're all connected to a kind of a book I'm writing, which will be out hopefully by the end of the year. finished by the end of the year.
Yeah, these are incredible. I'm a firm believer that the future is female, and then the majority of the space I feel like is going to be impacted tremendously by the female works. So kudos to you. I think the pieces are incredible, and thank you for everyone for coming up. I think we'd like to open up the space for any of the audience members who have some questions. If you do have some questions, just please come up to the circle above and ask your question. If you're not going to ask a question, please just step down from the stage so we know who would be asking any questions.
I guess maybe we'll also ask David also to tell about his project. We kind of missed him.
Yeah, and I think he mentioned a little bit earlier, but yeah, please, David, if you want to take and share a little bit more information on the project, please. Oh, I think you're on mute. There we go.
Sure. Glad to touch upon a little bit more. The 3 pieces that I'm showing are part of a collection of 75 performance photography proto PFPs, I guess they are. On the left is Heavy Metal Mouth, 1 of 1, and in the middle is Quasi Cubist Conundrum, and on the right is Displaced Figure with Jettisoned Eye. And like I said before, I physically wear all this work, so it's not a project, it's my life. I physically sort of wear these situations that kind of mimic CGI and Photoshop, or all the animators I'm influenced by, like Cool 3D World, who hopefully I'll collaborate with them at some point. I love them, geniuses. I kind of liken it to wearing dilemmas, sometimes humorously. Sometimes they're pretty shocking. Actually, yesterday, I might add that I did a Instagram live with NFT curator Annika Meyer, where she ate McDonald's in Germany while I smeared McDonald's all over myself and talked about my work for 45 minutes. That's on my Instagram and Annika's too. I'm David Henry Nobody JR on Instagram. So these pieces are part of that collection. In 2021, I really focused mostly on foundation on my videos, and they kind of blew up pretty well. I have a nice a group of collectors, and my price floor there is like 3 ETH right now, which is it raised slowly throughout the year. There's a few available there right now, I think, that I just minted recently. But then I also wanted to mint up the photography too. So these are a little bit older pieces, like 2015 to 2020, the sort of classic Web 2, and they're all like hugely viral. I have like 114,000 followers on Instagram now that I built with a lot of press and just doing, letting my work wild out on the internet. And in the past, I was kind of had some great shine in the past. I did pieces a long time ago, like where I predicted the Trump presidency in like 1999 and 2000, and where I stalked him for a year undercover. So I've had cool stuff happen, but it's really Web 2 and Instagram was like going around the gatekeepers that wouldn't give me shows. And now Web 3 is basically the ability to monetize my intellectual property or my work, and also to share it on a deeper level. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah, these are incredible. Now, are these images of you that you layer on top of? So is the background image a photo of you? That's awesome.
They're all real.
That's awesome.
So I'm actually figuring out how to engineer all that stuff onto my body. And the photography doesn't, you can go on my Instagram and on the foundation to see like the much more mechanical stuff where I put motorized toys and things all over myself to, again, like trying to turn myself in. I try and turn my emotions inside out and wear them, like whatever the circumstances of my day-to-day life are, and also everything that I see on, like I was saying before, that I see online that I export into my life, unconsciously, my weird dreams, being probably a pretty oddball guy in some ways. I'm just incredibly happy to have like this avatar David Nobody that can exceed being normal. I don't want to be normal.
Well, you may be David Nobody, but this is a place for everyone, so we're happy to have you, man.
I just want to say, as a fellow oddball, I'm like so proud that you've, you know, people is appreciating what you do, because I've been like following you for a while as well, and it's like amazing to see the work that has been ignored so much in the past now get the credit it deserves. And hopefully like people will see the value in these types of work, and that it's you know, art can also be fun. It doesn't have to, you know, always have a utility. It can just be fun. It can just be crazy as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's we're gonna have to hook up after on Instagram and Twitter and stuff, so I can see more of what you do. But yeah, I think I do come across as like pretty intellectual about my work, and I am, but it's also just like a party too, you know. I think and that the NFT crew and the world it's just all about the moment and the party. It's still cool for me to provenance things and say, hey, wow, man, this almost like mimics like what's happening now, like 5-6 years ago. That's cool. I'm also working on a lot of new things, and yeah, it's an amazing time in community. Really amazing.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that art is the utility for the most part. So even if there is no actual, you know, like back end stories, in my perspective, the art is utility. You spent the time, the energy. You know, there's so much behind these images and these photographs that the art is the utility.
A lot of the artists might agree that like I mean, I would speak for myself that I make art because I don't know what reality is. Actually, I have no idea. Can anybody tell me what reality is? I have no idea what this is. So I make
art because I don't care what reality is, because you know, nothing. You only create what you want to create.
Yeah, but we don't know why.
We create our own reality.
True.
Well, this is our virtual reality. And so, you know, I think that was an amazing perspective on your work. Thank you so much for sharing. I think your work is tremendous. I'm definitely just gave you a nice little follow on Instagram. Looking forward to watching these videos. It's super cool. Yeah, I think this is a good opportunity for any of the audience members. If they have any questions for any of the panelists or the artists, please come on stage and raise your hand, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. And you know, we have a few minutes left here, so please. I think we have here.
Yeah, I've got a question.
Yeah, please.
Sure. I've got a question for Maria. You know, by the way, some amazing artwork today in the gallery, so thank you for all the artists that are participating. Maria, I've got a question for you. You know, sometimes when I come across different artworks, different things go through my mind. Provocative, sexy, powerful. Enough about me. What's inspired you for your new collection? Huh?
Okay, so what inspires me are very simple things. I feel like it's the magic that we all have inside of us to believe in ourselves. That's why I say that magic does happen, and I believe in it. I also
so much for having me. I just wanted to just let all the artists know, look, congratulations. I know what it's like. I'm an artist, and it's just so fun to be able to have your art being shown, especially in the metaverse. And so just look, congratulations. I'm just so happy for you. I know the feeling. Like, I'm about to have my art in one of the alt space metaverse mansions. And so it's like fun, you know, you get to express yourself and actually have almost the same experience you would in real life. But this is so cool. You can have people all over the world. So congrats. I hope y'all are having fun. I love your art.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming up here and sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a very special time. Joanne, you came up to the stage. Did you have any questions? I didn't see a hand raised, but I saw you come up to the stage.
Yeah, hi. I am Joanne Canosa. I asked a question in the previous panel, but I co-founded a payments company powered by Ripple. I'm currently do sales and biz dev for NFT and crypto companies, and now working to launch my NFT collection that raises awareness for the Asian community. And I wanted to applaud those in the panel that highlighted what they're doing for artists of diverse backgrounds. Nicole and Christie's for supporting Black artists for Black History Month, as well as female artists, and Ayshia and Maria for mentioning their support of female artists. Deity, I love your depiction of Frida Kahlo. That symbolizes women empowerment. And I just wanted to ask others on the panel how they're supporting artists of diverse backgrounds from, say, emerging markets to even address social issues that are occurring in those diverse demographic groups. Thank you.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm happy to talk if someone wants.
I was gonna say this is timed right here. This is Janet Air is one of my projects, but time means teaching young minds every day. What I do personally for like I just came from the Hamilton play in downtown LA at the Pantages Theater, but I do stuff like that. I go out there and I just contribute to my craft. Like I was at the Immerse Van Gogh. I was at I try to make sure I support those projects that I feel like that I resonate with. So like with the Hamilton, that's an all black cast, and this Black History Month, so I'm trying to make sure that I contribute in every way I'm able to, especially with my art and with the things that I do with all the people who I'm around. That's what I was gonna say. Just like I try to make sure I contribute with not only my art that I do and the craft that I have with with my abilities, but I also try to make sure that I sponsor or I support those like Kamai and other people who are actually out there trying to and all the artists in this room right now. Matter of fact, I haven't found one that I wouldn't try to support right now. I'm just I'm excited to be in this room, and thank you for having me on.
I appreciate you. Kenza, I saw that you had your hand up.
Yeah, I actually wanted to reply to that question because that's kind of at the core of what Cyberbat is doing. So the DAO I am part of. I briefly mentioned earlier that this was really focused, like it's DAO that is really trying to empower artists from African descent. So what we're doing is really trying to create opportunities for African artists in the continent, but also abroad, and just trying to also really work on the educational side of the space and trying to organize conferences, exhibitions, and opportunities in general. So that's really something that that means a lot for all of us, because we have a core team and then we have a larger one with many amazing artists, but the core team is really like looking into creating as many opportunities as possible for those artists and for the DAO. And so that's really our main focus. And hopefully we'll also be able to inspire other DAOs to do the same for their own community. I know there's a strong community for Korean NFT artists that I also am really looking up to, because they're doing amazing things both physically and in the metaverse. And so that's something that we're really also trying to create as well.
And yeah, if I can touch on your question as well, Joanne, I think it's a collective push. I think all of us together, need to just raise awareness, whether that's hosting rooms like this, creating platforms, for other individuals who may not have the opportunity to showcase their work or to have a voice. I think it's rooms like this where we allow people, or we invite people rather, to showcase their work, to speak on themselves, their life, their project, and to raise awareness to their story. So I think it's, like I said, it's not one person can make a difference, but I think all of us will make a difference when we put their collective energy together and essentially raise awareness for those who may not have the voice available. So I think we had another hand raised here. Is that's Selenia. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name.
Vesi, come a bit up to the gray area, Vesi.
Yeah, if you just come this, there you go.
Hi, how's it going? This is incredible. I'm blown away. Wow, you guys, this is incredible. I just saved every link to every NFT, and I'm just blown away. Just congratulations. I'm so happy that I get to be here and witness this.
We're happy to have you.
And I hope you guys are all nominating yourselves or somebody that you respect and love in the art world to the NFT Superstars Award with the Coin Republic this week on Clubhouse. I hope everybody will be there and nominate themselves and share your purpose. Incredible here, you guys. Thank you so much for doing this.
This won't be the last.
I mean, it's unbelievable. This is beautiful. It's beautiful.
For sure.
You should migrate your awards to Connect.Club.
I was gonna say the same thing. Let's do an awards show here. We create a room with the awards.
Peaceful clubhouse excellence.
Janter, I believe you had your hand raised. If you're still on stage.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I agreed with the having more DAOs in order for them to actually, help communities. Like that's what I started a DAO, Lady Day, which is help minorities and people with disabilities, and basically just bringing awareness. And actually, this weekend we're gonna be at promoting a Supermint, and Supermint is a thing that's .io. Supermint.io is it's in LA this Friday and Saturday, I believe, and it's trying to bring everybody together basically, and get everybody on accord at the same page. And I think that's what we need more of, and that's what we are doing basically as a community. Everybody from Clubhouse to Club Connect. I think this is going to be an amazing platform we're on right now. So I commend everybody who's in this room, and Duty. I see Duty Man, but I see like a lot of people that I've seen before, and people that I know I'm going to see a lot more of it, and as we go into the future. So that being said, I was just wanted to add that in, and thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Job, I see you came up on stage. Do you have any questions?
My name is Jave. Well, technically, thank you very much for the event. I am mostly here just to witness pretty much everything that is going on, because it's a space that is moving pretty fast. And so I'm just mostly here to network with people, and I would like to know if there are also a lot of artists mostly in the music industry, because I would like to start a project around this, but I noticed that on the app it's mostly people showcasing artistic visual stuff, but yes, so if there are also some people into the music world, I would like to connect at the same time. But good job everyone, it's very beautiful what I'm seeing tonight, and thank you very much for the event.
Yeah, for sure. I think music is definitely one of the next waves in the space. Today our panel was focusing on the physical art space and to the NFT world. So this particular panel is focusing on artists themselves. So that's kind of what you're seeing here today. But let's see here. I think we had another question here from Zoe.
Hi, thank you so much. I don't know if it's okay, but I wanted to speak directly to Boo Deity. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I am so enamored by your work.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's something very sardonic about it. It's a little off kilter. It's just penned very, very well. And I run a production studio here on the app, and I would love to just talk with you just one-on-one or something. It's kind of weird, but I'll try to find you on Instagram or something. But I just really am enamored by your artwork, and I wanted to just say that, just be genuine and say I dig it, and that's all. My name is Zoe Yinks, and I'm done speaking.
Wow, thank you so much, Zoe. That's literally the best feeling ever when I can connect with someone like that. Thank you so much. I will definitely connect with you. That's great to hear.
Yeah, and I think that's why we're all here. We're here to connect with one another, share our voice collectively, and meet new people. Obviously, this is the next wave of connections. I didn't see any other hands raised. Oh, I'm sorry. I just saw hands raised somewhere. Ayshia, did you have that?
Ayshia had a hand raised, yeah.
Yeah, so I was more thinking about, we're talking about the diversity. And I'm also from the Middle East and North Africa region, so I've got quite a diverse kind of background. But I was thinking about, there's this event, there's a biennale that I run called Shift IBPCPA, and it's based on performance art within the metaverse or the digital realm. And if there's any artists in this space who would love to apply and take part, I just wanted to get that out there. I'm hoping that David would apply or would want to take part in the Biennale. It's going to happen in the summer, and it exists online. Like everything exists online. It used to exist on Periscope, so everything used to be streamed through Periscope. But because Periscope is now gone, like it's been closed because it was overtaken by Twitter. I'm trying to find like another venue for it, and I was thinking that the Connect, this app, might be a really interesting venue to use because it has to exist online. It's performance and collaborative and participatory art that exists online or within the blockchain. So any artist working with that medium, please just contact me on like Instagram. And I love to include as many people as possible. I like to include diverse artists. Being a diverse artist myself, like I always think it's important to have everyone involved and get as many people as possible sharing their voice and their vision. So yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. If there was anyone had any questions, I think we're just about at our time limit here today. If there's no one else,
can I just make one comment as well? Because so much love going on here.
Please, absolutely.
Say, David, nobody has got the most wicked sense of humor, doesn't he? So yeah, always delighted to meet artists with a sense of humor like that. So David, we definitely need to connect after this, and I'm Sean Alimov.
Did you DM me on Twitter? Is that you?
Did I DM you on Twitter? Probably. Yeah, I DM'd
Somebody
to a
just
lot
did.
of interested. Oh, no,
Thank you very much. Then. Yeah, let's definitely connect.
Absolutely. Just want to say thank you. And by the way, on the topic of diversity, within NFT and Metaverse Builders Club, my strategy was to make it not based on the race or background. This is why we Japan all the way to South America. Of course, English-speaking markets would have been an easier market for us, but I think it's more for us prestigious if we build a truly global community. So if, for example, Kenza or Ayshia, you have a connections with certain markets like Africa, Korea. Korea is also quite fast developing market for us. And if you got some kind of connections there, you want to support artists in those regions, I certainly would like for us to have a personal discussion after this show, and I can certainly give you a few ideas to think about. Thank you.
Absolutely. And
that'd be great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think on the topic of diversity, we have an announcement to make with Ekaterina. If you'd like to come on stage and have your comments. There you go.
Well, I wanted to say a few words in the end if no one has questions anymore. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who joined today, and thank you, Kenza, for bringing David and Boone as artists to this event. They were amazing, and thank you so much for your help, and all your advices are just priceless, and your belief in us. Thank you, Brian, for your great reviews of our project. Thank you for joining and supporting us. And thank you, Nicole, that you also agreed to be a speaker at our event after the previous panel. Thank you all the artists that you joined. And yeah, I just wanted to announce that we are planning the next event here in Connect.Club on March 9. And it's going to be, the topic is going to be equity in blockchain or equity in NFT space. And our speaker is going to be Alexina Yakovenko. She is marketing manager and from Solana Labs. So it's going to be something really interesting. So that's it. Thank you everyone for joining. If you have more questions, just feel free, come up and ask.
Yeah, and that's March 9th, which is International Women's Day.
Yep.
That's March 8th, Christopher.
Oh, my apologies. I was given the wrong information. March 8th. So with that,
we didn't want to interfere with the holiday, so people can actually enjoy and go to the restaurants and celebrate. So the next day we'll celebrate it here.
Amazing. So with that, I appreciate everyone for coming out and sharing their thoughts and their perspectives on the space. NFT, the Connect.Club, obviously a wonderful platform for everyone to share their stories and their insights. So with that, I believe, we'll call it a day. So thank you everyone for joining. It was a pleasure meeting with everyone. Today with panels about physical art into the NFT space. And join us next time.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Thank you. That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Reach out if you want to connect. Thanks. Bye.
Let's connect.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Actually, David, we have a mutual friend, Noah Becker.
Oh yeah, I know. I've known Noah for a long time.
Yeah.
Probably like way before NFT, probably about 15 years, and he's consistently supported different creative manifestations in the past, and yeah, he's great. He's a great guy.
I agree. He's got great vision as well.
Most definitely. And both him and I jumped on the NFT bandwagon as soon as we kind of figured out what the heck was going on. By about February and March, we were like chatting like crazy, trying to figure out what was happening.
That's brilliant. Yeah. And he put on a really good show. Were you part of it as well? It was in September on the Metaverse. Was it in because I was part of one of his shows, and then I think maybe you were part of the one that was just before it. Yeah.
Before that, that was with White Hot and Chainsaw.Fun.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
From Chainsaw before pre-NFT a little bit. I met him. He's actually a real person.
Oh, really? Great.
At any rate, yeah, very cool.
See you later.
Yeah, guys, I just want to thank everyone for showing your artwork. I'm hoping we're going to continue this relationship. And how did you find it yourself, huh? Was it interesting? Was it educational?
Yeah.
What are the feelings, huh?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I love being able to just chat and with people, share my ideas, and also hear the ideas of other people, because I think that when we're existing online, even though we're getting bombarded with text, it can become still lonely, because there's not that